Victor Webster. I don't like that photo of me. Get the Victor Webster one back.
Yeah, get Webster back.
Ew.
Dean,
All in
no high
favor of
maintenance
Webster's?
here.
Actually,
Yeah.
Eric, can we somehow zoom in on Ben's face?
Yeah.
It's very brooding.
It's the classic as we know as actors sometimes when the posters get used and they bump up the shadows and they take out the contrast and you're like, it doesn't look like me. Anyway,
Oh,
who's up first? I'm excited.
That would be me, Dara from Dear Hallmark. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Dara.
hi, Dara. Hello, my friend.
So excited to talk with you all. So, my question for you, because Hallmark is the grandfather of Christmas. So, I want to know to you, what makes the Christmas magic so special with Hallmark?
I mean, well, Taylor, were you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say nobody does it better than Hallmark. So, yeah.
It's true. And I think it's because they hit everything. They hit the joy, obviously, of Christmas, the love, the food, but also the vulnerability, you know, that you always have a moment in the stories when you're like, ugh, because they're big feels at Christmas in every direction. And I really think Hallmark manages to hit all the different feels.
I think Christmas is inherently magical, and people sort of often roll their eyes at certain things that Hallmark goes, actually, those are the things that we should lean into. And like, family and really the sort of more heartfelt, sentimental things that really make Christmas special. It's not about Hallmark is wonderful for their decorations and for their show, but it really is about the things that like Aaron said, it's the heart. And when you lean into the beautiful aspects of Christmas, like family and togetherness and connection and romance and all of those things, that is where the magic comes from.
Well, and it really is one of those beautiful things when you are a kid that really does continue to blossom even into when you're older, that feeling of magic, that feeling of family, of nostalgia, and it's pretty incredible that we've been able to now do, you think about Hallmark in, Christmas in July, and then now it's like Christmas starts essentially, what is it, October 20th and goes till January 1st. It's nobody else can do it like that.
That's actually the perfect segue because they ship staff. Sorry, I just saw your name on the Zoom bed. Because wasn't it one of the girls in the docu-series said that there's a study that says if you put up your decorations starting November 1st, you're actually like clinically happier. So
Yeah.
we're just even rolling that back, providing even more clinical happiness.
We're clinically too happy. That's what
I love it.
It wasn't it yes, I think it was yesterday, 6 months from yesterday was Christmas. So I saw like a comment online about
Merry
that.
Halfmas.
The
Mhm.
Merry
Merry
Half
Christmas.
there we go.
Half Mass. There you go.
Hi, I'm going to go next. I'm Roxanne from Everything About Hallmark or Chat with Roxanne. It's nice to meet you all.
Roxanne.
Hi,
Some of you
Roxanne.
I do know. Some of you have been my guests before, but I have I'm thinking about the fans. I know you do this for the fans. And why do you think you have such a loyal fan base?
Well, first of all, I think Paul does it for the money, but I think one of the
Sorry,
main-
you think?
Yeah. I think of it more as like a one long ongoing television series, and I think the fact that you get to tune in and watch us continue in this world year after year, the Christmas movies, and I think that it allows for that connection to get deeper. And I know for me, the first time I went to New Jersey Christmas Con was when I really understood the power of the fan base and just how beautiful it is, and to really, it kind of it reshaped what the entire universe was to me once I got to meet everybody.
They're very
I think also-
dedicated. No, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I think also the fact that it brings families together. So people have these core memories and making moments and really joyous, beautiful times together that, they are grateful for that. And I am grateful that they are.
I think you'd be
True.
also pretty hard pressed to find any other corner of the entertainment industry where the actors get to interact with the fans in the way that we do.
Yes.
Hallmark has done such a great job, especially last year with their Kansas City events. And now, I mean, this this reality series, Christmas at Sea, is a perfect example of really bringing the two together. So often we're separated by the TV screen. The fans are in the living room and we're on the TV, and this is a blending of the two worlds. And I don't know where else you would find this. I think that's what, when as we become more accessible and as we get to engage more with the fans, I think that does bolster, fan appreciation. I think the fans really do feel a little bit more part of this little world that we've created. Bridge the gap a little bit.
That's a
Yeah.
good answer. Well, good answer.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, and I
I
think also
practiced it in the car on the way here.
but it also encapsulates, which I think is which we talked about as well, as exciting as it is to come see us, it's also, as you're saying, Taylor, like that connection of bringing everybody together and then like-mindedness just of Christmas and these movies and the amount of friendships that have blossomed out of these events through the movies that we've made is what makes it for us even more special. While it is about us, we're like the facilitators of bringing everybody together, of connection.
It's
Yeah.
true. I think we get off something like this cruise, and I don't know who's more affected. The actor, like the actors, the people that have participated on our side. I feel like it takes us a week to come down from the high of something like that, and really how profoundly it does move us to have these interactions and to experience what the fans are, how the fans engage with these movies and give, we leave with this incredible sense of purpose and value. And I don't, I think we love it as much, if not more, than the fans do, to be honest.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Megan from Girls Gone Hallmark. And speaking about the cruise, we had the opportunity to be on sail 1. And so we saw firsthand, and then again in watching the doc, the cruise was really all about recreating Hallmark movie magic at sea. So I'm just curious if there was a moment for you personally that really captured that Hallmark magic during the cruise.
Oh gosh.
13,000.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it was like every day, all day. There were, it's kind of what these guys were just saying is like there's nowhere else that makes that connection, and not just between us and our supporters, fans, which is a gift for us, but also the everybody on the boat, like being on this Facebook chat and being like, oh my gosh, Nate, I'm so happy to meet you in person, and all. It's like these ripple effects of all these communities, and so it's like literally the magic Paul was talking about at Christmas literally was everywhere. It was like in the air. It was like, you couldn't turn a corner without seeing somebody that was like, somebody just handed me this bracelet they made, or two people hugging, or
Tyler Hines handing you a bracelet he made.
Tyler didn't sleep. I think he was just handing out. Yeah. But it was just like so many magical moments. I mean, I can think of so many. I cried. I mean, you guys know that these three will tell you I'm a big crier. So I cried probably every day of the cruise, just being touched by someone saying, and like we've experienced the first time, like Paul said at the or Ben, was it you who said at the Christmas con, it was like the first time we got to meet fans in that way, and they're like, you got me through my cancer, you got me through my mom's death, like, it's
story
impossible
after story
not to.
after story.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. And this reality series is probably I would say the best example of it. We're spectators to these real life Hallmark stories playing out in real time. It was extraordinary. This was so unexpected for us. We didn't really know what to expect. We knew that there was going to be a camera crew on the ship. We didn't really know who the people were that they were going to be following and what their stories were, and sort of just we were asked to just sort of be available and engage and interact when we could. And then we all started to really fall in love with the protagonists of these stories. They were like these wonderful, beautiful, incredible human stories that we got to be participants in. And I mean, they were like the real life versions of these Hallmark movies. It was incredible.
I had a standout moment when, I'm going to cry just talking about it, but I had lost one of my best friends to cancer while I was shooting one of A Reason for the Season, one of Hallmark movies. And so when I got the chance to come on the cruise, I got to talk about it and it was her birthday. And I asked the crowd if they would sing happy birthday to my friend Nicole, and everybody all at once yelled happy birthday, and it melted my heart and it made me so happy. And it felt like the biggest hug from her, and it was from all the fans, and it was just so special for me. So I will remember that forever.
Well,
Thank you,
I'm
guys.
Rachel from Hallmarkies, and I'm curious. So I think in your day-to-day lives, the four of you don't get like movie star treatment that often. So what's it like for you to get on something like this cruise and be treated like a movie star?
First
I
of
know.
all,
But that's what life's
very
like for us.
impressed.
We just walk down the street and scream at people. Oh my God, it's really hard. That's why we just tend to stay indoors.
I'm constantly being recognized by friends and family.
You know, I remember when we were getting off the cruise and one of the organizers at Six Men, and she's like, you know, I have done so many of these cruises. And she goes, the only fan base that comes even close to this fan base was the Kiss fan base.
Yeah.
And I was like, think of that, like rock and roll, like that's what
Yeah.
she goes, it was crazy, like the amount of security we needed at all times, like it was so overwhelming. And what was amazing is I remember we got off the ship, just all that craziness. We spent our little afternoon in Miami. I got home, and the next day I drove the girls to school, and on the radio it was like, Timothy Chalamet is going to be at the mall today promoting Wonka. So I took the girls there, and to walk back into a crowd of probably 7,000 people and not one person knowing who you are was amazing. The juxtaposition of
A
that.
great equalizer.
Great equalizer.
I think it's a little overwhelming, to be honest, because it really is such an isolated experience. And when you put 3,000 people on a ship that are wildly familiar with you, and it creates something that is completely unreal, and it's overwhelming, and it does kind of take you out of your body a little bit. I can't speak for everybody, but I find I need a lot of moments to sort of step away and take a breath, and also try to just take in what it is and how extraordinary it is, and really go, just give myself a moment to go, this is wild what we've created, right? What we find ourselves in, and it's a week of our year, or 2 weeks, you go to these conventions and the same thing happens. It's not really real, but then also it kind of is, and it's a complicated set of emotions and things that come up in those
Well,
experiences.
and while isolating, it's also, we're so lucky that we all know each other so well. So it's that we get to do it together. Like if it was with some people I didn't know at all, it would be very jarring. And it is like the feeling of going back to your room just for a sec and like look out at the ocean and just be like, I cannot believe what's on the other side of this door. And then kind of what I'm looking at now, like those little moments were so nice to just take a second and be like, look how beautiful this is out here. And then all of a sudden it's like, bing bong, off we go. We get a knock on the door. And then it's just like thousands of, it's the juxtaposition of it really is insane. And we're so lucky that we all have each other to sort of go through the experience together, because it really, it makes it so much more special.
The most telling thing is when you bring your mom to an event like this, and then the first time you see your mom's face when she sees what's happening, you're like, oh, that's the read. Because mom just goes, what is this?
So I'm doing an event in Toronto this weekend, and I just picked my mom up at the airport last night. And last night we sat here, had a glass of wine. She's like, so what's going on this weekend exactly? And I'm like, okay, so and she kind of has a grasp of it, but I'm like, you're just gonna see, you're
You
just
can't
along
explain
for
it.
the
You just
ride,
gotta
but
show
it's
you.
gonna be a lot. Yeah.
Oh, Paul, make sure to do Instagram Live. Just want to say, I want to try to catch it this weekend. Yeah. Oh, I said Paul. I really meant to say Ben.
Paul,
yeah. I just also, Paul, can you just Instagram Live your
Paul's my
life
videographer
this
this weekend.
Also, Ben,
Ben,
do you, what's your, I need your address really quick so I can send you some glasses.
Yeah, bud.
Pardon me?
They have these little things, they're called glasses. You can put smaller amounts in there.
But then this is one less dish I have to wash. Anybody who's ever done an interview with me knows I'll have a blender with, it's right at this time. Anytime between 11 and 1:30, I'm probably gonna have some type of smoothie.
Blender.
Yeah.
Some type of blender.
You gotta mix it up. Here's the problem, though, Captain, is they don't make cups big enough where we're going.
Yeah, there you go.
All I'm hearing is a challenge.
Yeah.
Cut to me Googling the biggest.
The biggest cup. Just a barrel.
The Stanley Cup. It's yeah.
All right. I'm Eric Rutan from Hallmark Mysteries and More.
What's up,
I've
Eric?
Paul and Ben on twice.
Yeah.
Taylor, you did a cameo for my sister's birthday.
Oh.
Aaron, I've been trying.
You know, Aaron.
Killer
Oh,
Timing,
Aaron.
the best
Guys, I'm
Mystery
in.
101. I want a whole series around your character, Kate. So, but
Oh.
moving on. So for you guys, all four of you have been in a mystery, as that's sort of my wheelhouse. But obviously, you've been in all the rom-coms and the Christmas movies. But now you guys are in a reality show. So those are like three. One of the questions we always ask is, how is mystery different than the rom-coms? But now you're in a reality show. So how is this whole thing? Because you're used to, stop, cut, everything under control, all of that stuff, and now it's kind of the wild, crazy sea, right? So how was that experience for you guys compared to what you're normally used to?
I'm actually glad you asked that, because I actually found it to be, I hadn't put a lot of thought into it until, Ben, we need you down here. And all of a sudden you're there, and I'm like, wait, well, how does this work here? Like, I hadn't thought about the process of the reality, and like, it'll be like, that was good, let's try it again, but let's do this. So it's not scripted, but it's these things have to happen. And trying to guide it in a way was a muscle that I kind of hadn't even thought about needing, but it did take a sec to sort of get into a rhythm. Did you guys feel that at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do any retakes. There was no. I
Yeah.
just straight through. Well, the weird thing is you're yourself,
Mhm.
and that's a very vulnerable thing to be in front of an audience, right? I'm horrible at public speaking. I'm not good because it's just me when I'm on camera. Not horrible. I mean, compared to Ben, I'm not horrible, but sorry, I should clarify. But you know what? I get really nervous, and I cry constantly. If I have to give a speech, it doesn't matter if it's like a retirement, I just cry. And so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna cry through the whole thing. When we're in a movie, you're in character. You're not yourself, but there's something really vulnerable about going, actually, this is me. You're catching a moment of Paul Campbell. And I was really nervous. Initially, I overcame it very quickly. I want you to know, because I'm like, wait, I'm Paul Campbell. And then I crushed. But initially, and it was also incredibly exciting. But yeah, it was very, very, very different than anything I've ever done personally.
Yeah, I prefer somebody writing my lines for me, but no, it was great. There was a lot of genuine connections and beautiful moments, and just getting to interact with the fans. And honestly, the cameras are so far away, I didn't even feel like we were shooting anything. So mine happened to be a conversation and an acting scene with Andrew Walker, which was funny. But yeah, it just felt natural because it was,
Yeah, Taylor, I was going to say something similar. When I was watching the show, there were times I was like, oh, I didn't even realize the camera was there, or getting our faces, or getting there were just moments that were caught that I was like, oh, that's so lovely. I didn't even know they were there. Yeah.
Because it's a real story, and you get lost in the real story. Now you're just living. You are actually just talking to people, and you're hearing, there is no performance element to
Right.
it. You're just there, and there happens to be a camera catching it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm Sarah. I'm half of Suspenders Unbuttoned, and we've seen you all at fan events or had you on the podcast. So what made the cruise stand out to you, and how is it different than the other events that you do?
I'll start. The cruise stood out because it was so contained, first of all. Like, you are all living together on a ship. You know, you kind of, you have moments where you have a room that you can step away to, but really this is like 3,000 people on a ship for 4 days, and you're just doing this thing together, and you're living and breathing as one. And yeah, sometimes we're up on stage, but there's no real separation. You're walking through the hallways, you're talking to people, you're giving hugs, you're taking photos. Like, it's really frenetic, and it's kind of nonstop. Like, I have never had better sleeps than every night of that cruise. I would just fall into
Yeah.
bed, and I would just
Yeah.
black out just from the adrenaline, from the energy, from the joy,
Yeah.
from the energy on this ship was unlike anything I've experienced at any convention or any event ever. It was like at a level 11 the entire time, just the excitement and the joy. Uh, and you're just vibrating the entire time, and you're going from one thing to the next in these tunnels, and you're coming up, and there's people, and it was just extraordinary. It was so unique in that respect of the energy and the excitement that I haven't experienced anything else like that ever in my life.
I'm glad that we had done the Christmas cons before, because I couldn't imagine the first thing ever is just being on that cruise.
This is the starting point. You're like,
And you're just like,
Oh,
boom,
yeah.
here you go. Because it really was like, it's almost like we needed the first couple albums to figure it out, because it's so much. Because I remember the first convention, it was so overwhelming, and I just couldn't even, the photos didn't really do it justice. So I think this documentary really captures the feeling of what it's like to be on our side, but also on the fans attendees side,
Yeah, and I also think, just in comparison to other cons and different things that we've all probably done before, you're standing in a booth and you get one person at a time, which is, it's great, and I'm sure that they're enjoying it, but this was another level of connection, that we're talking to everyone all at once, and you don't feel rushed, and you just are genuinely having a good time and spending time with the fans who love everybody on board. So it just is not comparable in any possible way. It's just so much more love and joy and excitement. But for us too, I mean, for me, it felt like what I would want a fan experience to feel like, yeah, as opposed to just standing in line and, meeting somebody for 10, 20 seconds. So I think this was just more personal.
and they
Yeah.
had unlimited cookies. There was just unlimited cookies. They were everywhere. You could have as many as you wanted.
Wait, can I just say one last thing, by the way, unlimited cookies, love you, Paul. To back up, actually, Paul, you said it earlier, and to back up what Taylor just said, it's so personal with the connection with the fans, and we're all having these shared experiences and games and things that you don't get at a normal convention, which make you feel even more, together, like you're all having this amazing time. But then afterwards, to have that with all the people on the boat, and then to be able to go and have like summer camp with people that we truly love, like Paul was saying, we were all in it together. Like, I literally texted Taylor this morning. I was like, I love you. I called Paul the other night and talked to him for half an hour with my husband on speakerphone. Ben, every time he's in town, I'm like, you better see me or I'll take you out. Like, we're actual, like these people are the people I choose as my friends. And to have, for me, that was also so special. Cause like, Taylor, there was a moment you and I were sitting on the floor holding hands, just crying. Ben, remember the day in the pool? And I just completely, it was like, we were just all so happily exhausted from all the love. I just leaned into Ben, and I was just waving at my husband. I was like, I got nothing, but I love you. It's just to have the both experiences of so much love for me was, it was the most amazing experience with the fans, and then to have summer camp with people I love. What?
What?
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that the love was so big that it was exhausting.
Yeah.
I'm Julie. I'm the other half of Suspenders Unbuttoned. And I'd like to know that when you're on this Christmas cruise in a tropical climate and viewers are watching Christmas at Sea, are they still going to get those Christmas feels?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's, I want you guys to, I just talked, but yeah, it's like, it looks tastes, feels, smells, sounds. It is Christmas, Christmas, Christmas.
They have Christmas in
shorts.
tropics. That's a real thing. Even in the tropics, they just wear shorts and short sleeve shirts. It's a little pared down. They don't really have the same sweater tradition, probably, but yeah, if Hallmark hasn't figured out how to do Christmas by now, then
Also, as actors, we're pretty used to pretending it's Christmas
It's
in
true.
the heat like that. The nice thing for us is that we didn't have to wear sweaters and long pants and scarves and hats and
if
mitts.
we don't have a line of sweat on our upper lip, it ain't right.
Is it really Christmas?
True.
Eric, I like your background.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I love that you guys didn't have to sweat your way through your Christmas scenes.
Yeah, it's true.
Did they lay snow down?
Like
Snow?
did they do bubbles or something? I forgot.
I think the last night, right?
Oh yeah, there was snow on the last night. That's right. It was snowing. They went all out. Hallmark did it when we first walked on the ship. We kind of got a tour of the ship before any of the attendees were on the ship, and I wish there, I don't know, I wish there was video of us emerging into sort of the great room that they had decorated, because our jaws just hit the floor. Like we could
Wasn't
not
Balsam
believe.
Hill? Didn't
What's
Balsam
that?
Hill go to town? I
Was
said,
it
didn't
Balsam
Balsam Hill go to town in there?
But
Yeah.
I don't, somebody went to town. Somebody went to town a couple times in there, because it was like off the charts. It was so beautiful. And I think that ship had just been like maybe it was a Kiss tour or something like that. They had like a
It was like reggae the moment. That's what was incredible is how like it literally came in, docked, they sweep it, then they bring everything back on. Then they went out, then they came back for the first cruise, clean everything. Then it was a rock and roll thing, come back, clean it, and put all the Hallmark stuff back on. Like it's
Yeah,
actually
that crew was
impressive
incredible.
which they
Well,
The movie magic. Yeah.
we had the
Yeah.
opportunity to meet the people who did the decorating on the first cruise. We sat with them at dinner one night, and it was interesting. There was a quick clip of it in the documentary of watching it all go up, and knowing we saw them all kind of like taking it down the last night of the cruise, and knowing it had to be packed away, and then they had to redo it all a week later. It was pretty staggering in just a couple hours.
Yeah, in just a couple hours. I know it's pretty fascinating.
What size of a
So
crew
what's
did
what's
they?
interesting also is because you remember like on our screens in the rooms, you could kind of watch the route that the ship is going. So actually from Miami to Nassau it takes, from what I understand, 2 hours if they just went. But if you're watching it on the map, it's doing this. It's just out there doing circles, making its way 2 days
one of
to
those
Nassau.
cartoon Matt looks at the car goes,
I was like, how much tequila have I had? What is going on with our
how much tequila has the captain had?
I wanted to ask, could you guys talk a little bit more about the different events that took place on the ship? Taylor and Aaron, you kind of hit it on the head in terms of talking about how different it is from the different fan events that you've been at. But I'm curious because I wasn't on the cruise. Could you talk a little bit more about the specific events that you were able to engage with the fans with in such a special way?
I mean, the beauty is we didn't even know what we were doing because we were thrown into what was the one, Aaron? You were, yeah, I mean, I don't even know how you pulled it off, but we were
Oh,
all
the
in
improv.
pajamas and she was full blown
Oh,
sweat.
there was like
What was
they
that?
we got a script, but it was a cold read.
Yeah.
And right, remember, or no, and then we had to like hop in and do some improv or no, we didn't know what parts. That was it. We just like, and
They didn't assign us anything. Nobody
Yeah.
told us what was happening. So they read a story and then just we popped up and started making the story come to life. And Aaron took the full brunt of all of it.
At one point I had
Wind storm.
multiple people blowing, like, because I was supposed to be in the wind, multiple people just blowing with their mouths in my hair. I think it's Paul, you might have been doing, yeah. That's so true, Taylor. I forgot about that. That was right, because I was like terrified. It was terrifyingly wonderful. Yeah. And then Ben and I got to host bingo, which was one of my favorite moments. I happen to also love bingo. So I was like bummed I couldn't play, but I had so much fun hosting it with Ben, and yeah, fun things like that. I know, Paul, you hosted a couple things too, right? Taylor,
Well,
didn't you?
I have two moments to stand out for me. I hosted, Kimberly Seston and I hosted a cocktail tasting. And those are no joke. And they're like, well, if you want to drink it, it's optional. And we're like, what are the options? Drink it fast or drink it slow? What are you looking? I'm like, wait. But that was really, really fun. And that was about an hour, of the just being really goofy and really silly. And just the whole crowd was super into it. But honestly, one of the most profound events was really unexpected for me was we did a screening of Wise Men 2, and it was the first time that I had ever seen myself on screen with an audience and actually be able to feel how an audience reacts to our work. And I cried probably 10 times during that. People were laughing in all the right places. People were like, it was a really loud crowd, like, oh, they were doing all the ahs and and there was all these noises and laughter. And I was like, we were all the cast, Andrew, Tyler, Kim, and I were all there just crying, like just looking at each other going, we've never experienced this. We've never experienced our work with an audience. And it was so moving. And we left feeling on top of the world. It was incredible.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that is. I actually thought you were going to say, because the one event that took us all by surprise was the silent disco.
Yes.
The
Yes.
silent disco was amazing, and we had a riot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That too.
And it was that too. It was like the emotion, but instead of all the tears and joy, it was just crazy and cheering.
Yeah.
So it was like parallels.
There were also a lot of competitions, and that made it fun because what we were paired up against, maybe it was you, Paul, but these couples that Ben and I were like, we don't have a chance. We've done one movie together. I mean, we know each other and enjoy each other's company, but I'm like, I couldn't tell you 5 facts about Ben.
Oh yeah,
We're so in trouble. And then we ended up, did we win? I felt like we won.
we won.
Oh, that was the which
In my heart, we won.
which pairing knows each other the best.
That's
right.
right.
Nikki and
Yeah.
Andrew. It was Nikki and Andrew, me and
Nikki
Kim.
and Andrew. They've done
Yeah,
like
Nikki and Andrew, they're
12 movies
literally
together.
husband and wife.
They share one skin, those people.
But
Yeah, that's
the beauty was that they couldn't get any answers right because they had so much history together.
That's true.
So it kind of backfired and we pulled it out. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Congrats, guys. Still think about that.
Make sure we put that in. That we won that event.
One, yeah. Definitely.
I have a question, but I also have a question. When you were talking about the crew that takes the stuff down and puts it back, I was just curious, how many people are there that do that? Please don't say like 10. Like, is it like a big crew?
That
Someone
ship is
said they had
run by
interviewed
a giant, well-organized crew. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure the number, but it was very impressive. Everything from the breakfast we had in the morning to, the security and knowing where to go and behind the scenes, because there's a lot of, traveling in elevators and secret hallways and different things, but everybody was professional. Everybody knew what they were doing, and it was very impressive to watch.
Right, because so this was the Norwegian Gem, and what was it? Just like if we were going on the boat and it wasn't this special cruise, what was like available on it? Because it looked amazing. I was like, it felt like it was a city. I've never gone on a cruise because I get seasick terribly, so I'm curious.
You know what's wild? I realized I got off the ship and I couldn't have found my way around. I never saw the whole ship. We only lived in the tunnels underground. We would pop up in a room and then we'd go underground to the bowels of the ship, and you'd pass the cooks and then you pop up somewhere else. And I left and I'm like, I have no idea what's on the ship. I didn't actually do a tour of the ship.
Are you really telling the truth? Because you like to
100%.
joke a lot.
No, 100%. I was like, couldn't tell you where anything was on the ship because we never went the normal routes.
Yeah.
Aw, you missed out.
Well, we did.
It was great.
Yeah, what did we do?
I'm fine.
We did one night where we kind of went out. Did you guys come? That's when Taylor taught us some gambling techniques. We went to the casino.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The casino was fun.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what it was, though. I
No,
couldn't
I
tell
don't
you. I couldn't.
Well,
Yeah,
and
no.
here's the thing, it's actually kind of, it's like you sort of just become a child, and somebody's always showing you where to go. You don't have to worry
Yeah.
about your coffee in the morning, when you're going to eat, what you're going to do. You're
Nice.
sort of just a brain dead blob adult who's kind of on this wonderful vacation, just being pulled around.
Free
And
cookies.
it's cookies. It's why that whole Bing Bong kangaroo thing came up, is because I kept saying I felt like we were little Joeys, and they just kept grabbing us and shoving them back in their pouch and showing us where to go, because we're just it's crazy how immature we can become in the speed at which we can become at.
I mean, as actors, they feed us, they dress us, they tell us what to say. We are basically children. So
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, I know everyone's anxiously awaiting details about this year's cruise. So, maybe you guys will all get a chance to go again. But if you could add an event or recreate an event or encourage Hallmark to include an event in their programming for this year's cruise, what would you hope to see?
Lip sync battle.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah.
Paul, can it be lip sync and air guitar, like, and instruments? Can they have whole bands?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Let's
whole
go
band.
like,
Yeah.
the whole thing. Like what? Yeah, like really full on costumes and everything. That would be really fun.
That's a really fun idea.
I'm an
And we could
abnormally
fans come up and
talented-
participate. Like you get pulled out of the audience to sort of be in the background, so they wouldn't be prepared for whatever was to come. But we had an opportunity to prepare, and then we could have fans come up and participate and sort of build a band or build backup dancers that have to kind of try and keep up with whatever nonsense we've come up with. That would be really fun.
Oh, so Maria, write this down.
Taylor, what were you going to say? Taylor, what were you
Oh,
saying?
I was just gonna say, talk about my very talented hula hooping skills. So if we could just incorporate that in any way, I'd appreciate it. Yeah.
I'll do every single event. Taylor's got a hula hoop. She's like, why did I say it? Why did I say it?
In like a big ball gown, just trying to hula hoop.
I think just red and green paintballs, and we just come up.
Oh, God.
Go on.
The one thing that they have to keep from me was, Ben, you said it, the silent disco. Like that
Oh,
has to stay.
Well, there was something strange. Like we'd heard about it on the first cruise, and I think we all talked about, like, should we do it tonight? But every time the night would roll around, we were all so exhausted, and we saved it for the last night. And I remember all of us on the stage going, "We should have been doing this every night." Like it really was a special way to end it, Yeah.
Oh, and actually, I thought it was really lovely and so like a Hallmark movie to have kind of like the ball right at the end too. Any chance to use a sparkly dress.
And
And
the
then-
theme of each night. I don't know if that was portrayed on the Christmas at Sea, but it was fun to get to dress up each night. And I made it a whole pink theme for my friend with breast cancer. So it was just fun. It was creative, and yeah, all of that can stay.
Taylor, you showed up with
Yes.
outfit. You absolutely
Wait,
knocked
I'm
it
gonna
out.
see if I
Like,
can.
And I
Hold
had
on.
1 week because I was a fill-in, so I was panicked on Amazon shopping. But to have those guidelines really helped because I knew what to search for.
I'm pulling this up, you guys. Can you see this? So Taylor, like Paul said, showed up every day. We were like, what is happening? So this is when we went, like the cast got like one afternoon to go to a beach together. This is Nikki. This is how Nikki got off the boat. She was like, look at me next to Taylor. Like, what is
That's
happening?
so funny.
Taylor,
So
you
good.
always look beautiful. Every time I see you, you're beautifully dressed. Always. She always looks
Oh,
beautiful.
Thank you. You're very sweet. It's a whole team.
She's beautiful
Hours
inside
of
and out.
hair.
No, by the way, that's so not true. You guys, we would all get ready together in the morning. She would sit down. I'd be like, Taylor, when did you get here? You're done. She's like, no, I just got here. I'm like, oh my God. And she's that beautiful inside too. That's what's the miracle.
No, I love you.
Well,
I love you so much.
I'm curious about Laura's arc in the show. She had this screenplay, and I particularly want to ask Paul and Taylor. So Paul, you went from being an actor to being a writer, and is it surreal at all for you to be sort of more or as recognized for your writing? And do you deal with any kind of like imposter syndrome trying something new like that? And then Taylor, is it at all awkward to be like performing the work of Laura there with her right there?
Yeah, that was interesting. It was because, normally we get the whole script and get to talk about it and delve in and do backstories and all that. We were only getting one scene, so I didn't know much about the character, but she really helped walk us through it and talk about it. So it was fun. It was fun and terrifying.
Yeah, the imposter syndrome question is a really interesting question. And I think probably early on, yes, for sure. But I think it's not that as much as every time we embark on a new script, the question is, oh yeah, can we do this? We never get comfortable. You never feel like I've got this figured out. I can do it every time. You go, oh, maybe that was a one-off, or maybe we got lucky on the last one. Can we write this concept? Can we produce something that we're proud of here? Can we be real writers here? And yeah, I don't think I still feel weird calling myself a writer. I write, but am I a writer? I don't know. I'm not sure that I would call myself a writer. And I'm not really sure I would
Call myself an actor.
a real actor. I'm going to call you later for sure, but yeah, it's really wild when suddenly when you're in a position of giving other people advice on writing, there is a little bit of imposter syndrome there. You're like, who am I to give you advice? I'm not trained. I have never studied. Like, I feel like luck and instinct has gotten me pretty far as an actor and as a writer. And but then you sit down and you talk and you realize, wait a minute, maybe I do have some things to say. I do have experience, and maybe I do have a little bit of wisdom to lend. I certainly wouldn't start teaching a course, but I guess my experience chalks up to things that I can share. And so it's an incredible honor to be asked to talk about
Paul,
writing.
you're being very humble because you're an incredible writer and very talented, and everything you had to say was right on point and very helpful. So
Thank you.
round of applause for Paul.
Yeah.
Thank you. Probably.
He was looking for
Here's
it.
where I feel like an
Yeah,
imposter.
we gave it to you.
You guys could quickly each share a little moment that maybe we didn't see that didn't quite go well. Your personal blooper reel from the cruise.
Can't share that here.
The family-friendly blooper reel.
I saw something on TikTok that said if you put a bet on each part of the craps table, or no, it was roulette, wasn't it? Yeah, if you put a bet on the cross hairs of every, then you win. But then we were running out of chips, so I took out one of them, and that's the one it hit on. So that was my blooper reel. It was a fail because I didn't follow the directions.
But it was amazing. We sat there for quite a while playing that. Just like 25 of them out. And it was like, obviously it's going to land somewhere. And then we'd get all of that. You'd get like one chip. Okay.
Yeah.
It was all exciting.
There's a lot of work, but it was supposed to be fail proof. And then, yeah.
One chip. And you would. We would win.
You were winning, just not a lot. And then you just repeat over and over till you fall asleep or run out of chips, which is what happened first.
You know, the thing that haunts me is on stage, they were like, what's been the most special part to each of the actors? And Sarah, who's been like truly one of my best friends for like 16, 18 years, like, you know, like seeing her through 2 kids and like my marriage, you know, like we're truly, she was like, getting this time with Aaron, we haven't got this much concentrated time together. And then it came to me and I was like, these moments with all of you. And then immediately right after, I was like, someone else grabbed me the mic. I was like, and Sarah, oh my God, I love you, Sarah. I'm so I've apologized to her like a dozen times. Like she doesn't care. She's like, oh my God, I get it. Like, I don't, but I still like, I lost sleep over it.
All right, guys, we got to cruise now. I got to jump. We got literally.
What was your blooper?
Yeah, Ben.
I did. That was just it. I just did my blooper live for you. I don't.
We'll edit that out.
I didn't have
Merry-
bloopers. I tend not to have any. I'm pretty seamless, just roll right
Aw.
through. Uh,
His blooper is zero self-awareness.
yeah, no shame is what it's called.
Well,
Merry
thank you
Christmas.
all.